What is up, mortals? Welcome to Season 2 Part 6 of What If Deku Was Trained by Stain. Shigaraki was not happy in the slightest. He had a plan to retrieve the boy he planned to recruit at UAS summer training camp. While it could be achieved, the chances were slim. The villains attracted from the Hasu incident were all low tier. They would have to rely on numbers alone. As long as nothing goes wrong, they would accomplish their goal. He knew his goal now, and he would do whatever it took to accomplish it. Izuku decided it would be in his best interest to continue his training before the summer camp. There was no doubt the others in his class were doing the same. He had a lot to live up to. He knew Stain would be monitoring him, and he wanted to live up to his expectations no matter what it took. Suddenly he heard a knock at his door. When he went to open the door, he was met with the smiling faces of Minta and Kaminari. They extended an offer to go to the pool to train. Midoriya accepted without much hesitation, although he was surprised at who was asking. The two of them had never seemed very serious about their studies, something that irritated Izuku immensely. He smiled slightly at the prospect of them taking their studies seriously. Perhaps in the short time they had spent away from each other, the two boys found some sort of inspiration. Izuku decided not to dwell on the thought. Instead, he started texting all the other guys in the class asking if they wanted to join. They arrived at UA and were informed that they did indeed get access to the pool area. Izuku worked tirelessly until finally, Ida convinced him to take a break. "What?" Izuku asked, noting that the boy had not yet sat down. "Well, I just thought it was strange. During the entrance exam, I didn't think I'd end up being such good friends with you. Frankly, I didn't think much about you back then. But on the practical exam, you were so motivated. It was obvious that you had something pushing you to be a hero. Even then it sparked something in me," Ida explained, with something akin to adoration in his voice. "I've always had someone pushing me to do what was right for the right reason. From a fairly young age, I was taught the importance of doing the right things for the right reason. If I didn't do what I did that day, I never would have been able to forgive myself. I know hero society is corrupt, but that's why I'm working so hard to be the best, so I can show everyone what a hero should be. Not just a strong person looking for money and fame, but a moral person who fights for justice for anyone who may be hurting. The fact that I inspired you gives me hope for the future of heroes as a whole," Izuku said, with passion in his voice. "It wasn't just the entrance exam either. Every step of the way you've shown your passion for helping others and doing what's right. You've helped me immensely, and I would like to sincerely thank you for that," Ida said. "It's the least I can do, really," Izuku said. "I think I may have just thought of an idea for how to keep everyone engaged in our training." Ida started. "Everyone, do you want to see which of the boys can swim 50 meters the fastest?" His question was met with many positive responses from his classmates. The girls volunteered to help moderate. The rules were set and the first group went, with Bakugo placing first, despite the fact he didn't do much swimming. The second group was a closer call, but ultimately had Todoroki placing first by using his ice to glide across the pool. The third race was the closest of the three, with Izuku and Ida neck and neck from the beginning, with Ida gliding on the pool separators and Izuku shooting off the pool with one for all. He could tell Ida had been training in the short time they had been away, which was unsurprising to Izuku. He was determined to win, despite the odds being stacked against him as far as quirks were concerned. He gave one final blast of one for all and managed to narrowly get past Ida. The students cheered for both of them, noting the skill the two of them had shown. Bakugo, Todoroki, and Izuku were set to race next. "Deku, you better not hold back this time. Don't take any sort of pity on me. Come at me with everything you got," Bakugo exclaimed. "Same goes for you, half and half. I know you can do better than you were doing at the sports festival. Don't half-ass this," he demanded. They all nodded in understanding and prepared for the race. Everyone cheered for them, and Ida started counting down to the start. All three of them readied their quirks and went over their strategies to themselves. They all launched into the air, only to fall straight into the water. Aizawa informed them that their time was up and they needed to go home, earning him groans and sighs from the surrounding students. They all packed up their belongings and headed home. Before we get back into the story, I would like to say that we've got a second channel called Anime Deep Dive. Anime Deep Dive goes over the hard facts of the anime presented. If you are interested in content like this, please go check the description below or click the eye icon in the top right corner. Now with that out of the way, let's get back into the story. Bakugo was beyond angry. This was going to be his chance to prove that he would be a great hero after Izuku made a fool of him at the final exams. He knew the others looked down on him after what Izuku said, and that annoyed him to no end. Beyond that, his words also stuck with Bakugo. They made him feel like less of a hero. He knew they were true, which meant he had to change and prove them all wrong. He would be a hero and save everyone out there just to spite them. He wouldn't be bested by some useless nerd. He would be the best hero there ever was. And he would make sure to be someone that others could look up to, whatever that entailed. He would make sure to do anything he could. Meanwhile, Izuku arrived at the beach. He looked at the empty sand and quiet gazebo. Just a short time ago he had cleaned this beach. He could still remember how it felt. The burning sun gazing down on his aching body. Despite his previous training, he could hardly stand the constant exertion his body was being put through. In the end, he finished and did so in a fairly impressive time. Now there he stood. He wouldn't have believed you if you had told his middle school self all of the opportunities he would be given and all he would experience. His train of thought was broken by footsteps approaching him. Izuku turned back to see it was All Might approaching him. They talked for a short time about how far Izuku had come in his future, but soon enough the two had to depart. As quickly as it began, Izuku's peaceful walk was interrupted by a looming shadow behind him. He turned slowly, keeping one hand on a knife while charging up one for all in the other. "Don't worry, kid, it's just me. I'm not going to jump you or anything." Izuku recognized the voice of his former mentor. He met his eyes and was surprised to see how kind they were. Quite a contrast from last time. "Yeah, I'm definitely in higher spirits than I was last time. I have you to thank for that," Stain said with a smile on his face. "Don't sell yourself short. I've seen the stuff you've been doing on the news. You definitely changed." "I'm impressed," Izuku said. "I am too. I've heard what you've been saying at UA. You've really been making an impact on these kids. Better than I could have done, that's for sure," Stain remarked. "I don't know about that. You said something about a student, right? That's what you did with me, and now I'm able to help others become real heroes. If you keep taking on kids like this, you could have a whole army following your ideology in no time," Izuku said. "I'm not sure if that's the best thing. You showed me my ideology can be pretty flawed. I'd say you helped me as much as I helped you, if not more," Stain responded. "There's no perfect way of doing things. I'm sure as time goes on you'll learn even more that will change your views. That being said, the base of it is right. We know there's a problem with hero society. There has been for a while. For most people, being a hero is just about fame and fortune. It's lost all sense of the word. And if even just a little bit, your ideology has helped people realize that. That's a truly great thing. I'm sure there are a lot more people out there who think as you do. You just have to seek them out. If there's enough of you spreading this message and taking a stand, they won't be able to ignore you. I hope, for the sake of all heroes and citizens, that we can all think a little more like you," Izuku explained passionately. "I gotta say that was touching. I'll try my hardest. Meanwhile, you gotta keep showing people what being a hero is. Can you promise me you'll do that?" Stain asked. "As long as you promise not to go on any more murderous rampages," Izuku laughed. "Way too soon to joke about that," Stain said in a deadpan tone. "You're right, but still, stay out of trouble. There's a lot of people after you, and I can only do so much to help," Izuku stated. "I'll do my best," Stain said, and, with a wave, walked into a nearby ally. Izuku looked at his former mentor with admiration and pride. He had truly changed for the better. He resumed his walk home. The summer training camp was coming up quickly and Izuku was ecstatic. He would try his hardest to surpass everyone's expectations. This was a perfect opportunity to grow and perhaps surpass his classmates. Izuku chuckled at the thought. There wasn't a chance his classmates would let that happen. He had seen their skill grow, and with it, their passion. They all pushed themselves to be great, and sure enough, their motivations had, for the most part, seemed to go from fantasies of heroism to a passion for the well-being of others. They weren't the same class they were before. They had all gone through incredible challenges, from USJ to the fight with Stain. They had faced threats most couldn't even begin to comprehend and come out stronger because of it. He was amazed at the positive attitude of his class. They had more of a reason to be scared and want to quit than anyone, but none of them wavered. It gave Izuku great hope for the future of heroes. Izuku entered his home and began packing. Stain watched as he entered the house. Something felt off about the whole summer camp thing. He didn't trust them going so far away from any nearby reinforcements. He knew he was probably being paranoid, but he had seen how the League operated and certainly wouldn't put this past them. He decided that he would need to investigate further. Thank you all for watching the video to the end. Now there are a few more things that I'd like to go over before the video ends. Firstly, I'd like to let you all know that we have a merch store. Some of the items in it are only available for a limited amount of time. So if you're interested, go into the description and check it out. Each purchase helps us make more content. Secondly, I'd like to thank our $5 plus Patreon supporters for helping to fund these videos. Lastly, on behalf of We the Celestials, I'd like to thank the writer for this video, as well as the editor for this video. Their details will be in the description. If you're a voice actor, editor, or writer, or you're interested in becoming one of those, go to the Discord that is in the description of this video and hit up the head of one of those areas. We're always looking for members to join us. That's it from us for today's video. So thank you all for watching, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're interested, and hit that like button if you liked the video. Until next time, peace out mortals, have an amazing day.